Hey guys, what's going on? Today I am going to go through the money bar indicator a little bit more, show you today's trades, and give some idea of how you can use this indicator. It's really cool. It's called the money bar indicator by Tim Bohen, and a lot of people have been jumping on board, but I've been getting a lot of questions. How do you use this? And so I thought I'd do another video kind of explaining how I've been using it, and that might help you guys. But before we get into all of that, if you don't know who I am yet, my name is Russell Barber. I've been testing hundreds of alert services for years now. And if you'd like to see the top 10 alert services for 2025 that I've decided are really good, check out the video linked in the description below for more details. So this is a review that I did recently. So a couple of weeks ago now, I started the Timbo Money Bar Indicator review. And it's for small cap stocks, usually traded in the morning. So I go to this review here. You can look through it. There's a webinar you can watch. I'll leave a link to it in the description below as well. The indicator itself is interesting because it's not a trading view indicator. It's a standalone indicator, which is pretty cool. And it's only $49 for lifetime, so you can check it out. These are for stocks that have the potential to move massively, 50%, 100%, 500%, that kind of move. And it's really cool. So come and check the article here. I put a lot of my videos down at the bottom, so you can check out some more of the views and trades down here as well. And yeah, it's really good. So definitely check it out. $49. If you want to low float stocks, you don't have to worry about options. You just trade these really volatile low float stocks, usually in the morning. So I was going to show you a couple of examples from this morning. First off, I will show you the advanced rotation calculator scanner, which is what the tech geeks at the at Stocks to Trade call the money bar. You can see why Tim Bowen calls it the money bar, because these are bars that are coming along like this, and the more green and the higher the X number here, the more times the float is rotated, so the more chance of a big move. So one thing I look for is a money bar that's starting to go up rapidly and try and jump on a stock before it takes off. That's the hard part. So I usually use another indicator in conjunction with the money bar. So I treat this like a scanner or a watch list more so than an indicator. So they are low float stocks. So you can have as much volume in a stock as you want, but it has to be low float. So it's also filtered by float as well. So that's the key. Getting in while the stock is rotating quickly and many times, and also on these low float stocks. So they give you a list here. Some of them are nonsense, like they says the float is 12. So and so some of these are not so good. So what you have to do is go through them all, usually pre-market or early in the morning, and figure out the ones that are starting to take off pretty quickly. So I thought I'd show you two examples. One is this one right here, GLMD. It's actually just had its move um, over here, so it's started to take off actually pre-market this morning, and that probably was be a move that most people would miss unless you're up early. It's consolidating now, so you can see how it's consolidating here. And the float is still rotating, so we go to the float rotation here. It's still rotating, but it's not rotating that fast. These bars are not shooting along really fast. It's only done it 20x times. The float is small though, so 1.8. So what I'd do in this case is I'd say, okay, we've had a big move up, a pullback, what looks like a consolidation. I would add on my other favorite indicator, which is Infinity Algo. And I'd wait for a buy signal on Infinity Algo in combination with so we've already had a buy signal back here, but I'd look for another buy signal here to make sure that we'd get another push up. So it's kind of what I'm looking for if it didn't catch this first initial move on the float rotation. Alternatively, you can look back in time and see if we have support at this level and see, like back here, you can see we are kind of at a support level here. So if the float is still rotating, which it really isn't doing that much, it's kind of stagnated now. But if it was still rotating rapidly, you might be like, okay, cool, I think I can jump in here. We've consolidated like nicely here, especially if there's a buy signal Infinity Algo, then you can get for another push. So like a spike, dip, and then rip kind of idea. So that's one way you could use it on today's rotation. This one was cool. So the float started rotating down here. This is the open. And look at this move on this one. This one is AGMH. So if we look at the AGMH, you can see AGMH is 28x, and it's actually a little bit more active than GLM and D. The float's bigger, 18 million. It already had its move though, So you can see what happened is the float started rotating rapidly here. And so as long as you're watching it on the scanner, hopefully you'll be able to say, okay, that's starting to move. Then I'd try and get in. Probably you'd end up getting in up here somewhere. And you'd get 50% by the time it moved up to here. This could still go higher. We again would wait for this to come down, consolidate, and then use something like Infinity Algo, which I'll leave a link for in the description below, by the way. It's a really good system. So this could still move from this scanner. So GLMD and AMH, like right here. So this is a really low cost stock though, like 9 cents. Started off this morning at 5 cents almost. So that's kind of the idea is you have to kind of pick out the ones that you want to look for and then decide how you're going to trade them. If you're going to jump on the momentum, so you jump on this big green bar, looking at the float rotation as your part of your reasoning, and then you can use Infinity Algo or something to work. And you can see Infinity Algo works pretty well on these small cap stocks as well. You can see there's a sell here, a buy here. This may just break down and be useless now, so I'd use Infinity Algo for that. And part of that is the float rotation seems to be slowing down on GLMD. It still hasn't really moved. See, so it still says 27x and we're down here. Each time the bar comes along to here, it'll add a number to here, so this would be 28x. The float would have fully rotated. So it's kind of a couple ways you can use this to try and catch these moves. And so often it's just kind of a case here, like this one's starting to look a little bit better, so we could add um, Infinity Algo to this guy. And maybe we'll see a buy signal come in on this one. We'll see. You never know. So part of the problem is there's already a smart buy. So again, you want to use this in conjunction. So you'd see the float rotation on the money bar, and then you'd see the smart buy on Infinity Algo. So this happened around 10 Eastern time. So you'd start to see the float rotate, float rotate, float rotate, float rotate, start to speed up. And then you'd be like, okay, this is on my watch list. And then you watch in for an alert for this to spike. You could set an alert, say, for a spike above 0.62 or something, 0.062, very low small cap stock. And then bang. So you can see Infinity Algo works well on these small cap stocks. Quite surprising, actually. Who knows? Maybe this can consolidate and then going again. We'll see. But yeah, so there's a couple ideas on how to use this. It's not the easiest thing to use, but it's pretty cool, and you can get some really big moves, like this 50% move in a very short period of time. This is a 1 minute chart, so you can get some good moves without having to use options. So yeah, the last thing I wanted to talk about is how to win 90% of your trades. So we have a free course. It's basically selling options for premium. It's almost the exact opposite of using the rotation float thing, the money bar. And this is a free course, 100% free, teaches you how to sell options and make money passively without having to be stuck to your computer all the time. So I'll leave a link in the description for that, and hopefully you guys have a good day.